Hello, everybody. How are you? And welcome to Spiritually Rye. And as always, thank you so much for your energy exchange with us today. We hope you woke to the most miracle morning and are also having the most fortunate day today. So our good fortune today is... We have a great fortune. Oh, yeah, we really do. We really do. We're going to be talking about the elixir of the gods, this quantum cellular technology powered by REDOX. Our special guest today, Dr. David Silverman, and you all are seeing Danielle Matthews making the whole media rounds lately. So, you know, they're going to be on here today really helping us through this process. And we want to thank them both for their service to really the commitment and dedication they've made to help us in our journeys and our lives to make it better for us. So
not only that, too, your commitment and journey to elevate humanity is incredible. And the dedication that both of you have is absolutely inspiring. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, so let's, what do you say we dive in about our guests, yeah?
I'm so excited. Yes, let's talk about our two wonderful guests. We have, first up, Dr. David Silverman. He is a retired board-certified foot surgeon, and he currently sits on ASEA's medical professional board. And Danielle, like Jay said, a lot of you are getting to know her, but for those of you that have not met Danielle yet, she has an incredible story to share. She's also a diamond executive within the company. And I'm just going to give you a quick little thing. When she was younger, in her early 20s, she was in a tragic automobile accident. She's going to talk about that, and suffered brain trauma. And the doctor said, you know what, kid, get used to it. This is going to be your life. And you know, obviously look at her now. That wasn't her life, right? And she's going to tell the story, and it's really an incredible story.
So again, thank you both for you coming on here today, because this is such groundbreaking technology. April and I have been able to grab onto this to the point we put a video on it for our audience. And wow, like really just the, you know, look, I wanted to have you on here to just talk about it from your perspective, because you're the people we met that said, hey, you know, give this a go, right? So I remember meeting, you may not remember us, but we met you, and you know, really at this, and you know, you talked through this. Dr. David, I want to ask you if we can dive in right with you real quick on this one. So retired board certified foot surgeon to, okay, I'm into this now.
Right.
How did that even happen?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me here. And I remember meeting you both very well. I was in Melbourne. I live in Delray Beach, Florida, and half the year in Maryland. I've sold my practice now, but I remember meeting you in Melbourne, and you were sitting in the back of the room. And
way back.
Yeah, that very back row, very back. As I looked out from the stage, back row left. And before the meeting, you know, everybody. What we talk about here often sounds too good to be true because it's a breakthrough, but people having an experience with it, once they've had an experience, game over. It's like, this works. I know it works. I want to share it with the world. And I asked you, remember I asked you both if anything, you had anything in your bodies that hurt you at all? You had any type of discomfort or stiffness? And April, I think you did, your back, I think it was. And so I gave you a little... Right, I gave you a little sample of this, the gel version of the drink, right? And I was right when I was about to go on stage, so I went up, spoke, and when I asked for people to give testimonials, I was so elated to see you stand up, and I thought in my mind, I'm like, it worked, and I kind of know it's going to work on almost everybody. But you shared, so I do remember you guys very well, and thanks for having me here.
Of course.
You asked why don't I do podiatry, foot surgery, and I sold my practice and my surgery center. Why don't I do that? I have found something I am so passionate about. You know, it's very rare to be involved with a breakthrough at the beginning before everybody knows it exists. 11 years ago, this was introduced to me. I looked at it strictly for the product benefit. My dad was very ill. He had a very grave issue, the type of issue no one wants to hear they have in any part of their body, their liver, their kidney, their prostate, their breast. So I investigated it for him. When my friend brought it to me, who was not a doctor, she just told me what it had done for her mother's joint problems, her breathing problems. And I saw her skin issues were gone. So I investigated it for that. So I became a customer and a believer. My dad is fine today. That was 11 years ago. In fact, I'm having dinner with him tonight and my mom tonight. But I thought maybe it was a placebo. How could this do this? So I was referring people to my friend Debbie, who told me about this, and they kept coming back saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I thought maybe it's a placebo. And then I saw something happen with skin lesions just falling off my friend's body. And I'm like, okay, it's not a placebo. This is real. And I was very hesitant to get involved in an opportunity like this because it was quote unquote multi-level marketing. And I've had bad experiences. I think a lot of people have had bad experiences with either companies or people. But I decided at that point when the skin lesions fell off to go fly to meet the people that the scientists, the people that it's a biotech company that's brought this to the world through word of mouth marketing, because pharmaceutical industry doesn't want like things like this on the market. So once I met them, I decided to get involved with the business, and I've just been sharing it with people, and some people are open, some people are not. If they're not open, I put the gel on them if they're hurting, and in 10 minutes, 90% of them, their mind is wide open. But it changes lives, and it's the world needs to know about it. Everybody will know about it eventually, but this is why I'm doing it, and I think this is why you're doing it too.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because there was a couple of things. This is what sold me particularly on it, is that, you know, and how it, you know, whatever, the shot of life.
Palladium in a bottle.
Palladium in a bottle. But I know you were sold by the gel.
Yes.
Initially, because I was taking this and you were on the gel, and
Yeah.
you like the you got connected to that.
Right. For sure. We're going to talk about this a little bit later, but
Yeah.
this is what absolutely this sold it for me. And it wasn't so much for the pain part, even though that is great. But what sold me was when I found out that this was a topical anti-aging for your face, your neck, your hands. I'm
Everywhere.
everywhere. If I could just bathe in it, that would be really awesome. Get in the bathroom and sit in it. And this, if anyone, again, we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but just real quickly, if anyone is looking for instant gratification, also for and Dr. David's going to talk about the relief of issues, you know, I think be careful of our words, that you have aches and pains and so forth and so on. But if you're looking for that instant gratification for your skin, like if you're like, you're looking in the mirror and you're like, geez, I just wish I could just go a little bit tighter, a little lift every day. This is a little this is it. You know, I said the other day, it's like everybody loves to have a great hair day, but how about having a great face day?
Right.
Right? If you want a great face day, it's right here.
You know, Danielle, remember when we first started meeting and you just kind of like helping people, because Danielle, everybody, so I got to say this to everybody. Okay. So just like we do these events, everybody always rushes to these websites, right? So I just want to remind you, someone sent you here, right? So they gave you a special link. So make sure you're using their link when you get on there. So that's number one. Number two is, if you have any questions, reach out to them, okay, before you start ordering. It really is good, because I know that, you know, as we're going, this is groundbreaking technology, everybody. So just, you know, we got a shot with this. So we'd like to help you do it in a way where, you know, it just doesn't get messed up, or you're not necessarily sure what to order. So if you're one of those that's running there right now, and you find something you want, contact that link or that person that reached out to you to set a time with them. Let us help you do this, because there's a right way to do it. Dr. Silver will share that with us on there. And also, if you do not know the link of the person that did send you over here, email us at askspirituallyraw@gmail.com, and just put their name in the header thing, and in the header thing there, and we'll get you their link and also their contact information to do this. So help you get that right. So I wanted to get that out of the way.
Yeah, thank you so much. Danielle, I want you to share your experience with everyone, but before you do that, help everyone understand the ASEA. It's powered by REDOX, which is cell signaling supplement. So if you can explain how that works and what that even means, and then share your story, I think it will help tie it together.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I know it took me a minute to wrap my head around it. It was actually Dr. Silverman. It was David that gave me the aha, and he explained it so beautifully. So I had this experience with the technology that I'll mention in a moment, and it had changed my world. And I thought, how is this possible? And what is this stuff doing? And basically, you know, it's made from saline. Okay. And that threw me off big time. For 6 months, I actually refused to use this stuff because I'm like, it sounds too good to be true. This is like, what a scam. And David said to me when we got on the phone, he said, listen, when you go to the ER, what do they hook you up to? A drip of saline. When you
God, right.
It's salty, you sweat, it's salty. He said, your body's salt water, and your body's very smart. It uses the sodium and chloride of salt, and it uses the hydrogen and oxygen of water to make a lot of different molecules. You know, I think something that we all have in our house is probably hydrogen peroxide. And I don't know if you guys know how it's like what that is, but it's H2O2. right? Water is H2O. That's one more oxygen, very different molecule. Hydrogen peroxide, I think we all agree, very different function than what water does for us. And so our body is just taking these building blocks and recombining, making a bunch of different molecules. They're known as reductants and oxidants, okay? Negatively charged, positively charged. And the literature and the way we speak about it, it's redox. It just is combining those two words. All right, so these molecules, basically their role, you said cell signaling, it's communication. Like when you cut yourself, haven't you ever wondered, like, how does the body know to repair that? Of all the things my body is doing, like, how does it know to go here and fix it? Yeah, and our bodies are very intelligent. We're just trillions of cells, and they're all talking, they're all communicating, and they communicate with these redox molecules. And what's interesting, April, is that as you age, you make less. And so your body gets less and less able to find the damage, to detect the damage. The call for help is getting weaker. And so things kind of creep up and they become chronic, right? We're going to the doctor because we have some issue. For me, though, I was young. I was, in my 20s, and I just had a lot of damage. I had been hit by a drunk driver. I had sustained an injury to my brain, and it wasn't repairing. Doctors had actually told me it was my new normal. And there was nothing more I could do to get my body back. And I just thought, there's no way. There's got to be, like, our bodies are incredible, and our ability to repair and heal it's innate within us. Our body is seeking that. And I thought my body just needs the right things. And so for me, what the redox did is it just like amplified the call for help, right? When I took it, it went into my body, and the alert system went louder on where my damage was and allowed my body to do what it's designed to do, which is to repair itself. Mm-hmm. And so when David was sharing with me what this was, how it worked, my mind went crazy, April, because I went, okay, this could help anybody with where they have damage in their body. And if you just let that sink in, it is so profound.
It is.
And I just went, like, it was like light bulbs going off in my mind thinking, what is this going to do for humanity? I mean, what is this going to do for people? And it's like, I know that I went through what I went through for a reason, to be put in a position where I learned about this technology and I was able to then have a voice to share it. And I've witnessed it do incredible things over the years.
Well, first of all, kudos for you for not listening to the doctors and taking your own health and your own well-being.
At least not this doctor, anyway. Right. Listening.
I listened to this guy.
Or the message that they gave you, let's put it that way. And you knew intuitively, you know what, my body can have the ability to heal itself. And just maybe there are products, solutions out there outside of the, medical professional world. So congratulations for you on that. That's a major step. And something that you said, which I really am such a firm believer on, which is why we obviously called the show The Elixir of the Gods, because all of humanity, this should truthfully be a staple in everybody's house. This should be in everybody's cupboard. If this was in everyone's cupboard, the world would be through such a magnificent transformation, because you know what? It all starts at home. It starts right here. And with all of this craziness going on, with all of the toxins that are coming through the air, the toxins that we're constantly feeding ourselves, right? It's in our food, it's in the air, it's in the water, it's in the toothpaste. We constantly have to be in a detoxification mode, because we need to be our own doctors now. In this time in history, we need to claim our health, claim our wellness, and become our own doctor.
You're a bit passionate, aren't you?
I love it.
All right. So Dr. David, I got to ask you this one. So for me, one of the things I noticed, and if you can help me wrap my head around this, literally, so I noticed pretty quickly, and I went into this feeling, okay, I'm a pretty healthy guy, right? And I'm doing my thing. And for me, it was like, okay, I watched what you talked about when I met you, and I said, this does make sense. So my frustration was always a couple of things, like I was taking a lot of supplements and things like that, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I never really know what's working. I could never figure it out. So I take something, stop it for a week or two, try something, stop it for another week or two. What I noticed, like probably after my first week or so, probably the second week, I would say, to quantify it, my intuition just like, boom. I mean, I felt really tapped into the universe, and I already feel like I am, but like at another level,
Supercharged
right?
It.
To the point where as time goes on, now this is 4 months now, right? As time goes on, I was able to, my stream of consciousness was able to identify, okay, this is the supplement you're taking. This is good. Keep on with that. Maybe take a little bit less with that. Not only am I getting a stream of consciousness, I'm able to identify for the first time in my life the other stuff that was very, quite frankly, starting to frustrate me, because I'm like, I feel like even though they're supplements, I still felt like I was walking around with a pill box, you know? What was I experiencing there? Can you help me to understand that?
Well, we should all supplement with some nutrition, because our food supply has been screwed up and we don't get what we need. So we do need nutrition, but this is not nutrition. I mean, as Danielle said, and you said, our cells make this. I'm 61 years old. My cells are making this. But when I was a kid, at puberty, we start really producing less. I was producing a lot. So when I was a kid, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, I'm 61, I'll be 62. My cells are making this much. So my body, if I didn't supplement with this and raise it, my level will be right here. And my communication between my cells would be at that level. And when I drink this, I'm raising up the levels. It's exactly what's in us. That's what's amazing is it's safe as water. I mean, I used to write prescriptions every day, right? I have to worry about three things when I write prescriptions. And everybody that takes prescriptions, you know what I'm talking about. One, doctor will ask you, I would have to ask, what are you allergic to? Because I could give them something that could kill them, right? Two, what else are you taking? Because I could give them something that could interact and it could kill them or make them sick. Three, I had to know the dosage. So medications that I wrote all the time, it was easy for me. I knew what to do. Sometimes I'd have to say, well, what's the medication for this specific infection or this or whatever? And I have to look it up and say, okay, what's the dosage? I'll write it. Well, there's a reason there's a dosage, because medicines are toxic. Pharmaceuticals are toxic. And if you take too much of it, your liver can't metabolize it fast enough and the toxicity builds up. And if I doubled the dose by accident or tripled, or God forbid, 10 times the amount, I could kill somebody. Every drug will kill you if you take enough of it. Every drug has what's called an LD50, lethal dose 50. It stands for what dosage did this drug kill 50% of the rats that you tested it on? And the FDA asks every pharmaceutical company that before they start trials. This doesn't have an LD50. It's not a medicine. There's no toxicity. If I drink 4 ounces a day, I drink 8 ounces a day, but between 4 and 8, it's here. But if I say, like I went on a trip out west, I'm going again in 2 weeks out west. I'm going to be on planes, people hacking and coughing. I'll drink a bottle a day. The excess gets turned back into saline, which is what Danielle was talking about. That's what our cells are filled with. So it's very different, but it's safe and it's non-specific, right? So you're talking about what's that?
Does it ever get to a place in your body where it would plateau, like supplements or medications plateau?
Well, we feel that after, people that are really ill, sometimes they're drinking a whole bottle a day, 32 ounces, and it gets a little expensive doing that. But if it's helping them, it's like, well, my God, it's helping. And that's for very grave situations. Most people drink between 1 bottle and 2 bottles a week. That's 4 to 8 ounces a day. But it's just that it's safe. You can't screw it up. If someone says, oh gosh, I just drank too much, it's like, it's okay. Your body's going to turn it back into saline. You're not going to overdose. It's totally fine. It's so safe. You can spray it in your eye. You can put it in a nebulizer if you want, and literally put the liquid in there. Mm-hmm. And that's how safe this is, because it's not medicine. But to answer your question about, different supplements and so forth, here's the expectations. You got one too. People baseline everything in their health. Let's say their major problem is their handshakes. Their major problem is they hear some ringing in their ear. They don't sleep well, or they got low mood, or whatever it is. Their joints hurt. They write it all down where they are today. They keep taking their supplements. They keep taking their medications. They don't change anything. Excuse me. The only variable is they start drinking this and putting this on their skin, and they take pictures and they just watch what happens. And what I find is that if they follow the instructions, and there's, I know you can give them the instruction videos on how to use it. It's very simple. 15% of people at day 7 say, wow. We call those fast responders. By day 30, and there's a money back guarantee for 30 days on it, which is nice. 60% of people say, wow, this is amazing. But by day 90, 90%. And that's why we say go 90. If anybody doubts that the product works, they take the gel, which is the same thing as the drink, but it's for the skin, and it rejuvenates skin cells. So your skin is younger, right? But if anybody wants to validate this just for their own edification, or because there's an opportunity attached to this, they're like, well, I have to know it's real before I start telling people. I say, take the gel, and the day you get it, you will know that this is real. As God is my witness, you'll know. And not for wrinkles, right? But for things that hurt. And what they do is they find 10 people that are hurting. They have them rate their discomfort, their hand, their neck, their back on a scale of 1 to 10, like you're putting it on now. They take the gel, which is clear, and there's no smell. It's marketed for, it's marketed for wrinkles, right? Right. But they take it on 10 people. They rate their discomfort on a scale of 1 to 10, and they say, give me 10 minutes, not 30 days, not 90 days, not 1 day, 10 minutes. And you say, okay, what's the level of discomfort now? In 10 minutes, I'm going to ask you again. And what they do is they take the gel and they put it where it hurts once, twice, 3 times. So they put it on, it dries, they put it on, it dries, they put it on, it dries 3 times in 5 minutes. The 10th minute, ask them how they feel and watch real carefully what 9 of the 10 people tell you. And that validates that this is real. And if someone doesn't see results right away with this in the 30-day money back guarantee, if they've done this on a few people, they're sticking with this at least 90 days because they know that it works. It's very powerful.
There's a big turn. There's a big shift between 30 days taking it, and then when you hit that the end of the 3-month period, it's like a complete, I mean, it's like it even though it was going great, I don't know what happens, like what you're saying in that 90th day, but it like, I felt supercharged. I felt like all the past that I've been taking for the past 3 months, all of a sudden it was like, bam, it's here. It is here.
Yeah, that's why we say 90 days. And so people start 2 ounces twice a day, which is a little cup that comes with it. And they hold it in the mouth for 30 to 60 seconds because it gets in through diffusion. It doesn't get in through digestion, and you swallow it, right? And after 1 week, if you're in the 85% of people that don't see anything, you absolutely bump it up to what's called the magic 8. It's 8 ounces a day. And you stay there until you see you have your aha moment. Then you can try to decrease it just to save money to get back to the 4. But I drink 8 ounces every day. And the older someone is, the larger they are, the sicker they are, they're generally going to be on 8, but we always start them at 4 ounces a day at the very beginning, because it's going to help the body cleanse itself of toxins. And you want to urinate all that out. Toxins come out of your cells. Like when you get a deep tissue massage, they drink water. Well, you have 70 to 100 trillion cells. And when you have a toxin dump and all these toxins come out, which is good, it's a cleansing, you want to urinate it out. So it's good to drink a lot of water and start at the 4 ounces a day, 2 ounces in the morning, 2 ounces at night. And after a week, if you don't see changes, then bump it up to the magic 8 and stay there until you see your changes.
But what I did, Dr. David, is I started off with that magic 8 right out of the gates, because I was, you know what, if I want to know going into month 2 that I'm going to keep this. That was honestly, that was my thought process on it. I was going to give it the 90 days, and I did, and I have. But I wanted to know that, hey, 61 days, I'm good with this. You know what I mean? I'm ready to go.
And
is that all right?
Jay, that's totally fine. What happens is, if you start at 4 ounces a day, about 10% of people will sense the detox is happening. It happens to everybody, but less than 10% will feel it. And how do they feel it? They could get a headache. They could feel tired. They could get achy. They could get a rash. They could get diarrhea. It's the toxins coming out. It's not the product doing it. It's actually cleansing the body. And at 4 ounces a day, when you start, it's less than 10%. If you start at 8 ounces a day, it's probably about 20% will feel that. And the reason I say start the lower amount is if you're prepared for detox and you understand it, then go ahead and do the 8 ounces a day. It's fine. But it scares people sometimes. They get a rash and they say, oh, I can't take this. I'm allergic to it. You can't be allergic to it, because what's in the bottle is inside of us. It's just the toxins trying to get out of the body.
You brought up such a great point when you wwere talking earlier about the toxins. It comes out in a multitude of ways: fatigue, headache, stress, anxiety. You can't sleep. You feel like, your head's foggy. Well, for those in the spiritual realm, they can relate very well to that. Sounds a lot like Ascension symptoms, right? With all of this stuff that's been going on and the solar flashes, a lot of people are experiencing those exact symptoms. And a lot of that also has to do because your body has toxins in them. So you have to get those toxins out. That's another reason why Jay and I are such advocates for this product, because every time you're taking it, and we take it twice a day, you're constantly putting the good stuff in and getting the bad stuff out, putting the good stuff in and getting the bad stuff out. And you have to be in detox mode all the time now. all the time. Danielle, real quick too, and I wanted to, Dr. David talked about, is it a placebo? He said in the beginning, but you recently did an interview with Catherine Edwards. And for those of you that want to go back and you want to learn about how it is going to tremendously help animals, make sure to watch Catherine Edwards' interview. And you also had on a guest, Beth, who is a professional horse trainer. And I love what she said. She said, somebody said, well, why does it work so well in animals? And she's like, because animals don't lie. They don't overthink it. You can't placebo an animal, right? So can you share about that real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so interesting because that's what got me. Someone showed me some photos of what it had done with some things on animals, and because it's safe, like you can use it. I'm doing a little experiment with flowers. I mean, anything living, right? Put some in ASEA, put some in regular water, put some in salt water. Watch what happens after a few days, after a week, after several weeks. The ones in ASEA, I think you're going to see are going to last the longest and breathe the brightest longer. But animals have the same communication system that we have. And so if you can get their cells talking better, you're going to see improvements. And I loved what Beth said. She said, they don't think themselves out of it. And I always laugh because I was so negative when I started using ASEA. I mean, I thought it was BS still. When I said yes to taking it, I thought it was still like a scam.
And she's telling the truth. I was there. That's exactly the way she was.
I was rolling my eyes while I was drinking it. I mean, it was like, I was like, this is ridiculous. But thank goodness I didn't talk myself out of it. And it's like, it worked. It was like, holy cow, my head's not pounding. It's been pounding for 2 years. Like, whoa. So I get it. When she says that, I'm like, yeah, thank goodness I didn't talk myself out of this stuff working. But, my own dog, like he got, it's like a virus that little puppies get, and it causes these disgusting, like growths that come out, and it takes like 3 months to go away. I don't know if I told you guys this. No. And it was so interesting because my vet said there's nothing you can do. It's viral. And like, it just has to run its course. And I thought, all right, well, so his immune system needs to get a boost. And one of the studies that was done with REDOX is that it helps activate the gene that turns on the innate immune response. And I thought, let me just give him a little boost then. Let's see what happens. And that ran its course in 14 days. And I called my vet and I said, they're gone. He said, no way. And I said, here's the picture. It was phenomenal to just watch it. My dog didn't know what I was giving him, but he went along with it, and it did its work. Like, and Jay, what you said, I thought was really interesting. You said you felt more intuitive, you felt more in alignment. We are, animals are constantly like plugged in with source, right? They're very intuitive. That's just how they operate. We have that ability too, but our brains like think us out of it. And I think one of the things that this help does, it gets us back into alignment. And I think it does help you tap in to that innate intuition better because our systems are clear, like you were talking about, those toxins are out. And so I've noticed similar things myself. Once I got repaired fully, it's like, there's like another level of wellness that I felt. There's another a layer of like,
yes,
it's like, I tell you, it's, so God bless you, by the way. You wear it well. 61, God bless you. And really, that's fantastic. I'm 51. I'm like, all right, this is good. And I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, you know what? I'm recently being like, I feel great. I feel like I'm, I feel great. I can just feel it. I look, and I feel like there's a better version of me that keeps coming out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I've been watching it, Jay, like just like over the month and a half. I'm like, oh, you have a different glow.
It's insane. It's like I'm like meeting. It's like I'm, like we talk about it in theory, like on these shows and everything about the higher self or the different versions of ourselves, and how do we get to meet that higher power, whatever that is for you, you know what I mean? And I feel like I'm just meeting these new versions, these different versions of Jay. I'm feeling like I'm meeting I'm bringing the future self into me.
Ascended version.
Yeah, I feel like, and this is exactly how I feel. Is like I feel like, okay, I'm meeting the version of Jay that tells me what to do and how to create my wealth. I'm meeting the version of the Jay that tells me what to do with my health, my relationships. I'm meeting these different versions of me, and they're coming right here, and they're very specific, and they give me a roadmap. You know what I mean? So something opened up. You know what I mean? Something opened up there, and I think it's pretty fantastic. And that's, I got to tell you, that's really been a lot of, the aesthetics and the feeling good. That's one thing, but that connection for me has just been wow.
It is a big wow, and listen, we all know and hear about the med beds, and ultimately, whenever they get here, And whenever they become public, not just for the super wealthy to enjoy, when they come down to earth and bring it down to, where you can go into a spa for them. In the meanwhile, we need to find other supplements that duplicate what a med bed does. And this, we've all been waiting. Everybody always says, when is quantum technology coming out? This is quantum technology. This is quantum cellular technology that is a gift from the gods, which, thank you, let's talk about that one in a second, that is literally being brought down. The knowledge has been brought down from the heavens, from the spirit, from God, whatever it is that you want to connect with, and it's been brought down to the minds of the people that have created this. Jay always makes a joke, well, look at the color of the bottle. It sure looks like the color of the Palladians. It's almost identical.
Someone dropped it down.
So maybe you never know, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But this is it. It's you don't have to wait for it. It's has already come to us right here. So, Dr. David, did you want to share something?
Well, I was just going to share a while ago, Jay, you asked me, why would I do this? And part of it is, as I said, it's people need to know about this, and it's exciting. It's exciting opening minds to possibilities. A lot of people have given up hope. A lot of people have just stagnated and say, is this like, I'm 30, I'm 40, 50, this is life until I die. And it's so cool watching you share what's happening with you and possibilities open up. And, it's thrilling to me. Danielle was a young woman who was negative about this. She finally tried the product. She was negative about the opportunity side of it. But I smile when someone says, I don't want to make any money. I don't want to be involved in the business side of it. But I smile because I think, well, that's because you don't know what it does yet. But I haven't said it. I don't say that in my mind. I'm like, well, we'll see. That might change, because that was me. That was exactly me. I had no interest in that. But the other side of it is watching people grow. We were at the International Convention last week, and Danielle was on the stage with me. I was Business Builder of the Year. She's on the stage with me.
You go with your bad self, girly.
And she killed it. And I'm like, I was literally I stood back and I was crying watching her. And she went from this person who had been hit by a drunk driver, who was told there's nothing they can really do, to, hey, I'm fine. And now inspiring thousands of people around the world, on the live cast, and also the over 1,000 people that were there. And that's part of the thrill for me at this point. The money just comes. The money happens if you help enough people, but watching people develop and reach their potential, right, instead of just stagnating, is the coolest thing to me.
It's the coolest thing in the world. And you know what? I want to tag on that, Dr. David, because I tell you, it's like, a lot of people and stuff we interview on, and it's all about maintaining a vibration. The higher the vibration you can maintain, the more you have that ability to attract the good things you want in your life, right? And so the challenge for people is always like, okay, well, they hit this high. Like, I think that inherently people can get that high, they hit that wave, but the sustainability of it, it's never there for a lot of people. This helps you sustain that. So I say to my conscious business peers out there, if you're in a conscious business, you're absolutely insane not to have, and you, because they know the language, we all know the language we talk about, but you're insane not to have something that'll keep you there to sustain that vibration and just watch it. And it doesn't become about the money. Money just becomes part of the functionality of life that comes in and this, and you do your work, you do what you were destined to do, whatever you think that is or whatever that is, but you find it out. But it's a very different view. It's a very different view of how I'm seeing this. But again, the sustaining of the vibration to attract that for people, that is big. And also too, I say this to a lot of spiritual guides, Dr. David, too. If you're in the business of being a spiritual guide for someone or something of that nature, well, your intuition is like your trade, right? So you got to find something to tap in tighter, especially in 2022 is what I say, keep that things. I mean, I just, that's what it is. I tell them, like, look, I would go to someone, if I was looking for a spiritual guide and I saw this, I would buy from that person, because I know, and I'm not being funny, but I would know, okay, they're doing the steps that they need to do to give themselves a competitive edge in their business and tapping in. That's, I full on would go there just by knowing this and seeing that, I'd be like, I'm in. That's
Well,
my.
you know, it's a cellular health product, as Danielle said, it affects all cells of the body. And the brain is made up of cells. And this crosses the blood-brain barrier because it's in us. This is so, it's not a medicine, right? Although a pharmaceutical company tried to buy it. And I think we all kind of know that pharmaceutical companies aren't just in business to help humanity. It's a business. They happen to have a product that provides a service and a benefit, but at what risk? I mean, because I think our medical system, and I was part of it, is great for crisis care. But for chronic problems, it's the most ludicrous system in the world, taking pharmaceuticals for everything, every problem with side effects. So the fact that it crosses the blood-brain barrier, people, when they baseline everything, they're cognitive. What's your memory like? What's your mood like? And there are websites, which I'm sure you can give to people, that have people sharing what happened with them, but at no risk. This would be considered, to me, I don't think penicillin, calling this a product is kind of crazy. Like, who would say penicillin's a product? When penicillin came along, bread mold, here, take this, you're going to save your leg from the infection, you're going to save tens of millions of dollars. Bread mold, what am I going to drink the bread mold for? Penicillin was a massive breakthrough in medicine, massive. It changed things, right? Well, this is not a medicine. This is out of the realm of pharmaceuticals. This is innate. It's in our body. God put it there, right? It's just that God had to find a way to have the population not overpopulate the earth. So at puberty, we start going downhill. We heal slower from the same injuries. We start getting more diseases as we get older, and it corresponds to producing less and less of this. This is a biohack. I mean, you're just raising your levels back up what God put in us, or whoever you believe in. And it's a miracle of modern science. And I can't overstate that. I mean, people say it sounds like you exaggerate. I'm like, yeah, get the product on 20 people and tell me what you think in 3 months, and you'll see what I'm saying is true. This is a huge breakthrough for humanity.
I couldn't agree anymore. And when you feel the way that we feel and the way that you guys feel, you literally want to shout it out to the entire universe. You want everyone you know and love to feel the exact same way, because you know it can be done. And it doesn't even take a lot of, you got to tweak a little here and tweak a little there, maybe change your diet and make sure you're drinking filtered water or distilled water and add some ASEA into your life. You're going to see magnificent, dramatic changes. How you thought, geez, I would love to feel what they feel. Well, you can feel the exact same way. We're all feeling the same way. That's why we're all here so passionate about it and want to tell everybody, because
We drank the Kool-Aid.
we drank the Kool-Aid.
Literally, I guess.
And I don't regret it. And I really want the whole, really to tell the whole world. Danielle, you just got back from the convention, and there was a woman who did a short little 60-second video, and we'll put the clip in it. We just weren't able to do a screen share for some reason. But I want you to share the energy mentality that is behind the company, because that little 60-second clip is so powerful for people that are thinking, well, who's really putting their hands on this stuff? Who are the people in the manufacturer getting in there with their energy and infusing it? So can you share that clip that I'm referring to?
Yeah, I didn't know this, and it didn't surprise me at all, because the amount of integrity that goes into everything that this company does, the heart and soul of who they are, how they got started. But what she shared was that, when we're there, we're mixing and mingling with people from the home office. And she said she ran into some of the people that work in the production center. And they said that every morning, someone goes around and checks in and just makes sure, like, how are you doing? How are you feeling today? How are things going? And if anyone is off, might be emotionally, might be health-wise, they say, look, just take the day, go home. Because number one, they want their people to be at a good level, but number two, they want high energy going into the product. And so we all know, right? Everything is energy, and there's an interchange there. When you go to the facility, I've had the pleasure of going and touring the production facility multiple times. They're all smiling. And I mean, it's not like oh, we're there, they're putting on a face. Like, they're all smiling. And I think the last time I was there, David, correct me if I'm wrong, but The president of the company said that their Christmas bonuses they gave to the people working the production line, rather than them taking it, CEO, president, et cetera. They went and gave it, and they, the way that they stagger breaks, and they take care of their people because they realize that energy is part of it all.
And it's being infused into the products. Yeah, that's great.
It's interesting again, just I guess the most exciting part is that and I can't stress this enough, just because there's so many of us that have just been talking about this, like describing what we're talking about right now. Now I know, Dr. David, this has been around, like you said, about 13 years, right? I think. So this has been described forever, like, oh, you can feel like this somehow, some way, God or angels or whatever you believe in, whatever your jam is going to come down and they're going to give you something like this. It's been described to us. To actually witness it is holy smokes. It really is at that level. And this is what I really want to, hopefully we're driving home to you, is that it's, I don't know if you would go as far as this, Dr. David, would you say it needs, when people do this, okay, when people say, okay, well, they're going to place their orders, what kind of thought process should they go in with for real? Because then there's going to be the people that, okay, well, let me give it a go. I don't know, we talked about the 3-month theory, but when they make that initial purchase, because I know there's people right there that are going to be doing that. And then, and again, don't forget, everybody, go, if you can't find a link, reach out to the person that sent you here. When they make that initial purchase, in their minds, your professional opinion, what should they be ordering for? Number one, a single person. Number two, maybe a married couple or spouse, whatever. What do you think that at minimum they should order to get in this, to stay in it, so they don't miss that week of be like, oh, I love this, now I got to reorder a week, you know what I mean, kind of thing.
Well, a couple of things. One is, April, you mentioned that this is something that's affordable, and it is. If someone's on a fixed income, the liquid could cost with rebates, $105 a month to $210 a month when you get rebates on the liquid. But it comes with a money back guarantee, and there's a way to get it for free. If you pay it forward, the company spends no money on advertising. When they turned down the offer from the pharmaceutical buyout because they saw that they were just going to bury it, they said, we can't let a pharmaceutical company get their hands on this and the patents and the IP. They can just make it go away and no one would ever know it exists. And the world keeps spinning, just taking meds for everything. Mm-hmm. They decided to market it this way. So it's a biotech company that decided to market it through word of mouth marketing. But because of that, 50% of the global sales volume goes into the compensation of us. So if someone signs up as a customer, they can get the wholesale price on it, and number one. But if they sign up as an associate, or they can switch over to be an associate, they can actually share it with people, and the company will pay them. Every time the people they've shared it with, the company will pay them. So it's enough money to pay for their product. A couple of customers, it's like, okay, now I can pay for my own product and my family's product. But they pay for the ripple effect that occurs, right? Those people tell people, they tell people, they tell people, and the money that will go to drug reps or go to advertisers or spokespeople, it goes to the common people. And so it's giving people can empower themselves to get their health, to get their product, and if they want to do better. But as far as taking the product, it's very important. What I recommend people do, and the company has several products. They have remarkable products. They have products that are powered by REDOX. They have a product for mood, for mind, for energy. They're little powder packets, right? We're not talking about that.
It just came out.
It just came out. And just
like this week.
They're amazing, absolutely amazing. But I'm talking about this, right? As amazing as those are, and they're instant. You feel it. They're ingredients that you can get other parts of the world and put the ingredients together. No one's put it together like they have, right? But it's not some breakthrough for humanity. They are amazing products that really do work. We're the only ones that have this. ASEA has this. It's not reverse engineerable. Like you said, it's available in 33 countries around the world. So if you know someone in Hong Kong or France or Mexico, they can just go to your website and they can order it. It'll ship to the closest distribution center, but from the closest distribution center. Money back guarantee. Everybody gets a month, right? But taking it the first month, everybody that orders this should have 8 bottles. That's 2 cases. It comes in a case of 4 bottles. And here's why. If you drink 4 ounces a day, that's a cup in the morning, a cup at night. At the end of 1 week, you've gone through 1 bottle. 15% of people stay there. 85% say, I don't see anything yet. Those people double it. Now they're doing 2 of these in the morning, 2 of these at night. Now they're going through 2 bottles. If you order 1 4-bottle case, that means you go through 1 bottle the first week, 2 bottles the second week, and 2.5 weeks in, your product's gone. So there's a money back guarantee. So it's important for everybody to order the first month per person, 2 cases, 8 bottles. And I always recommend people get 2 tubes of gel. You're going to take pictures of your face. You're going to take pictures of scars. You're going to take pictures of cellulite. You're going to take pictures of everything beforehand. And you're going to use 1 tube just on your body and your face, right? And you can always go in and order more. And the other one, I want them to keep with them because I want them to try it on people that have things that hurt them. Anybody that has something that hurts them. 1 tube can make a believer out of 30 people that have something that hurts them. Remember, they put it on 3 times in 5 minutes, and in 10 minutes, you ask them how they're feeling. So that's what I recommend. Now, they have a subscription program where every month you get your product shipped to you, fresh product, and it's produced in an FDA registered production facility in the US, shipped around the world from that one facility. And a subscription, you get on the subscription at the time that you enroll, get on 1 4-bottle case of this and 1 or 2 tubes of the gel. You can change it whenever you want. You can cancel it whenever you want. You're not obligated for it to ever ship, but 1 month later or 4 Saturdays later, it will ship. And again, there are a lot of benefits to that, which I don't have time to go into, but if you're on auto ship, you can start getting rebates on this product to get as much as 20% back. Every time you order, you get 20% back in free product.
That's great.
That's really,
I want to ask you, thank you so much for sharing that. How does it activate glutathione?
Glutathione. Yeah, so,
Thank you.
so there is a book that is excellent. I held it up before, and there are textbooks on this. When I looked at this in December of 10 for my dad, 2010, there were 4,000 studies on redox signaling molecules at pubmed.gov. Now you go, there's over 30,000. There are textbooks on this. They're difficult to read. This book is a little easier to read for people that want the science. Most people don't care. Is it safe? Can it help me with my problem? What the heck, I'm going to try it. Do people want to know what mitochondria are, electron transport, all this? Some do. So this book is great. Redox Matters. And there's a website called redoxmatters.com. And if you go there, you'll see video recordings of people explaining all these things. And one of the things that it does is it raises your levels of activated glutathione. Glutathione is our body's master antioxidant. There are a couple others, superoxide, dismutase, and catalase, but it raises it. And anybody that knows what glutathione does, as soon as they know that they don't care about the cellular communication. They don't care if it makes you feel better when you put it on your back. They don't care about the wrinkles. Anybody that knows what glutathione is, it's so powerful that if they know it raises it, it's like, I want it, give it to me. Because it's that powerful. So it does raise your levels of activated glutathione. That's proven.
Well, the reason I was asking that too, because again, this is just a theory, people, but I've heard from lots of different resources that the glutathione helps to cancel out any of the side effects of the jab. So,
is that a thing?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. We can't make any claims about this. We can't make claims because it's not a medicine. Thank God they didn't sell it to the pharmaceutical company. Thank God they did not take the money. Pure integrity. There's a video called The Genesis of ASEA. Maybe you can, Danielle, you can give the site so people can watch it. But if you look carefully at the name of this book, this is what we have to do. It says Redox Matters, connecting the dots between redox biology and health. So we can't make claims that it cures, heals, treats anything. And it really doesn't. It helps the body do what it's supposed to do as it did when we were children and younger. But we have to connect the dots, whether it's jabs or vision or breathing or spectrum behavior. We have to connect all these dots. We can't make that direct claim. But I would tell you this, what you said before, every person on the planet should be on this. Every person on the planet should be on this product if they're past puberty and because they're producing less. And if they're children and they're healthy, they don't really need it. But if they've got problems, they absolutely should be on it. If they have skin problems or behavior problems or breathing problems, it can't hurt them. And that's the beautiful thing about it.
It is.
Danielle, we've been on some shows together, and you know, I've heard people say, oh, well, this is just this can be reproduced at home. This is like this product, that product. And there just isn't anything like it, is there? I mean, and
I can make that myself.
what do you say to those people that, I mean, I can, you know, some part of me understands like, okay, water, sodium chloride. Okay. All right. So how is that not duplicated? Can you help us from that?
I remember I moved to Florida when I started to share this with people, and I had people tell me like, well, why can't I just go to the beach and like get some salt water? Like, what are you talking about? And I'll never forget, someone said, yeah, go spray salt water in your eye and then go spray ASEA in your eye. Tell me they're the same thing. I mean, it's that foundational to realize like it's totally different, but like the company, there's a video of how it's made. They like walk through the production facility. It's a 3.5-day process. Like you are literally ripping apart these bonds between sodium and chloride and these bonds between hydrogen and oxygen. So it's not saline anymore, right? You have these free floating and then they recombine, and it's through electrolysis. It's, you know, they've got things going in a certain way. This is part of their IP, so we don't have all the details, but you know, the process that it takes to go through is 3.5 days. All right. You can't do it at home. There's nothing you can do at home to create it. People have tried, like scientists have tried to stabilize redox signaling molecules for a very long time. They thought it was impossible to do. And, you know, they figured it out. And I think it's, you know, through who knows what that got guided, right? Accident that allowed this to just be here, but we have it now. And we know what it does. We know what it is. We know it's the same stuff our body makes. Our body does this in nanoseconds. I mean, our bodies are amazing. It takes us 3.5 days. But yeah, you can't make it. You just can't. Unless, actually, so the founder of the company last week, he showed an image. I wish I had it. Jay, April, I'm going to have to send it to you. He showed an image of the machine that they had to make it. And literally his dad was making it in his basement at the very beginning of all of this. So I think that's probably the only person.
Well, it wasn't really the very beginning, Danielle, because there was a predecessor company that had this technology for about 15 years, but they couldn't stabilize it. MDI was the company, and they couldn't stabilize it. And Bertus Norton, who was in charge of international strategy of Kraft Foods, I mean, it's a pretty big company, $36 billion company. He was sitting on the board of this parent company that had this subsidiary company that had it, and they couldn't stabilize it. And this Genesis video, I mean, I put together a Linktree site that has no contact information on it, but it answers all these questions you're asking. It's called gettingyoungerclub.com. gettingyoungerclub.com. You go there, it says, well, is it just salt water? Watch the video. Why is it marketed this way? Why did they say no to the pharmaceutical buyout? Watch that. How does it work? There's me explaining how it works. And by the way, I was smiling when you were saying that, Danielle, about spreading in your eye. You know what? Go find 10 people that are hurting in agony and rub salt water on their neck or their back 3 times in 5 minutes, and watch how many of them say in 10 minutes, wow, that's amazing. Then take this stuff that's made from salt water, not salt water anymore, and go do that and watch what happens to 9 of them. And it's pretty self-evident that there's something very significant here. And anybody that does that on 10 people, they know 3 things. It isn't salt water. It's very easy to prove to anybody that wants to know that it's real can know that it's real. Go put it on 10 people that are hurting and watch what happens to 9 of them. And 3, if they're entrepreneurial, they know this is like a genie in a bottle. This is coming out. I mean, everybody's going to know about this. It's so self-evident, because if I just did that on 10 people and I was told to watch what happens to 9, and darn it, wow, that's amazing. Anybody can do it. So you get it to people with spheres of influence, and then the genie's lid just blows off. And that we're still, after 12 years, we're still, the company's small. It's $200 million last year, but it's going to be a $20 billion company. That's how big this is. It's so easy for someone to self-validate the product.
Yeah, it really makes sense there. Weight. So does one's weight have any impact, or how they take it? Do they need to take more if they weigh more or less?
Well, yeah, the bigger they are, the sicker they are, the older they are. Because the older they are, they produced a lot, and when they were teenagers, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. I'm 61. I produced this much. So I probably should take more than someone that's 30, because they're still producing a bit more, right? And someone who's 80 should probably take minimum 8 ounces a day, but I always start them on 4 ounces a day. I know you went right to the magic 8 right away, and that's fine. But the other thing is a lot of older people are dehydrated. They don't drink a lot of water. So when the toxins come out, then they can not feel good, you know, so and that spooks people sometimes. So yeah, but that's generally how you take it.
Yeah, we started out on the Magic 8 because with Jay and I, we're, you know, obviously anything that we can do to help raise our vibration and make ourselves feel better. Listen, we're all about it. So we like the Ascension fast track.
Yeah.
We're not on the Ascension slow track by any stretch. And I wanted to talk to you real quick, Dr. David, about how this activates the pineal gland.
You know, I honestly am not the person to talk to about that. I know it activates everything. And so when someone says to me, well, it helped me, I have this problem with my nerves, I have this problem with my bones, I have this problem with my brain, I have this problem with the part of my brain. And when I started with this, I was asking the same questions, April, to all the doctors that knew about it before me. And they kept saying the same thing. They'd say, David, does the problem you're talking about involve cells in the body? And it hit me. It's like, everything is cells in the body. And they just smile when they would say it. And it was like, this is different than any medicine or anything that you can think of, because it just enhances signaling in the body. And the pineal gland is made up of cells, right? It's a gland, it creates hormones. As Danielle mentioned, that there was a genetic expression double-blind study. You know, our genes turn off as we age, it's called epigenetics, and proven. It was a double-blind study, and saline was the placebo that they used. And they wanted to see would it turn genes back on. And what they found was every person who drank ASEA, their genes, the genetic expression turned back on. It increased. Every single one, 20 to 31%. And these are mapped genes. Well, one of the genes controls hormone modulation. Well, you know, pineal gland produces hormones. So when people have, we can't say it helps thyroid problems. We can't say it helps diabetes problems, because that's, you know, the pancreas is making, insulin. We can't claim it helps any of those things, but we can say is, where are you today? Okay, take it for 90 days. How you doing now? And again, we have to connect the dots. We don't make any claims because it's not a medicine. So again, I'm not a pineal gland expert, but all I know is
that was a great answer.
I'll take that answer.
But I'll tell you what, here's where the rubber hits the road. I'll be 62 this year. I take no medications. I used to take ibuprofen when I golfed once a week. I'm looking at the 9th hole. I live on a golf course. I play almost every day, sometimes twice a day. I haven't taken ibuprofen in years. I watch my friends, the ones who listen to me, they're like, this is a great ride. This is fantastic stuff. And some of them think I'm a whack. It's like, hey, you know what? There are early adopters. They're the masses, and then there's the laggards, right? They take longer to adapt to something or adopt it. All I know is when I was a kid, to think I'd be 61 years old and feel like I'm in my 20s, and just bounce back and just not ache and not take medicines. I'm not saying it prevents you from taking medicines. Some people really need medicines, but man, we always say, would you like to live younger, longer? Would you like to live younger and better longer? And I'm living proof of it. Danielle's living proof of it. You guys have been on it for 4 months, and you're sharing it with the world. And I'm so glad, you know, you have influence, and when you share this with people, they can create a ripple effect. And a person that doesn't have a sphere of influence can still create an enormous ripple effect. How? They share it with the people they know. But one of those people may have a massive sphere of influence, and then they blow it up. Well, that one person who had a small sphere of influence just impacted tens of thousands of people because they took it to someone who had a sphere of influence. And by the way, the company pays you for that big ripple effect. So it's like a win-win for everybody. So I'm so glad you guys are on board.
Thank you. You know what? I want to tag on something that you said about someone who doesn't have a sphere of influence, but they take it and they have a miraculous recovery. And they're like, well, how am I going to be able to help the world? Well, let me tell you exactly how you help the world. Because when you, one single solitary person, raise your vibration and you raise your frequency, it's all energy, right? So all that energetic vibration, you're literally lasting out to the world every single solitary day, because the more you feel great about yourself, the happier you are. And again, it's all energy. So how are you going to how are one little tiny person going to make a shift in the world? Because it's all energetic.
Well, you know, actions speak louder than words too. I mean, look at you, Dr. David. It's like, look, actions speak louder than words. Look how great he looks, right? I mean, look at you, Danielle. You know what I mean? And
Oh, I feel.
look at us. You know what I mean? And say, but it said action, how you feel. I feel that same way too. I ran almost 5 miles today, and I'm faster, stronger, with
definitely.
no discomfort. And I still, it still kind of freaks me out a bit. I'm like, man, I'm still looking for it. I'm like, I don't feel it. I'm running in concrete. I'm like, I don't feel it. You know? Did you?
No. And you know what, Jay, the only thing that I can say to help people relate to this in any way, shape, or form of how great we feel, I feel the only way that I can articulate it would be, I feel our body is literally moving out of this carbon-based, heavy, dense suit, and it's moved into this very light body, energetic suit. And when your body has that light energy behind it, you don't feel how you felt when you were heavy and dense. It's a total, completely,
Like that thing at the car dealership that blows up and it's our arms.
right. It's a major shift. And if anyone is looking, you know, like, geez, everybody keeps talking about how do I attain this light body energetic field? This is the first step to do it. This is everything you've been asking for. What can we take? What can we do? How can we raise our vibration? How can we go from carbon to crystalline? It's been given to us right here.
You know, and so we're getting down to the close, everybody. And I want to thank everybody for being on here. I want to thank our guests, but I do want to say to you again, the person that invited you here, they gave you a link. So do make sure you do use that. And also, if you don't know how to get it, reach out to them. I would encourage you to get some just assistance and just rap with someone for a minute as you're placing the order. Let them walk you through it because they've been through it, right? And this is groundbreaking technology. There is no other way. It's not like going to the store and buying it online as a vitamin supplement. It's very unique and it's a life changer. Everybody, if you have a soul, for God's sakes, you need to be telling your loved ones about this. I mean, really, this is really something that can help the planet. I want to thank our guests again, Dr. David, Danielle, really for your service and the dedication that you put into these years to really help us all have a better existence. So much love to you both, for real on that. I really do.
Thank you so much. It's a joy. It's a joy. I know Danielle, I'll let Danielle say something at the end here, but like I did at convention on the stage, but this is a joy. It's a joy to be able to help people with their health and help them not struggle or settle. I mean, the opportunity side of it, if you're a nice person and you pay it forward, you will be rewarded, emotionally rewarded because of the good that you do, but the company will pay you for it on a residual basis. And one thing I didn't have as a doctor was time freedom. Now I have complete time freedom because that ripple effect, people are enjoying the product. It's on autopilot. It's just they're sharing, they're consuming, they're thriving, and it gives you time freedom. It gives you life satisfaction, time freedom, and money too. And again, I just reiterate, I don't push the business on anybody. I started as a customer. My dad was sick, and just like Danielle, some people are looking for opportunity, but a lot of people just want a better health, and then they see it and the light bulb goes off. It's like, wow, what an opportunity to make a difference and have a better life. So I thank you all for having me on here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Danielle, final thoughts from you before you love and leave us?
I'll just say this, guys, it's a gift and it's crossing your path for a reason. We're all here right now. It's all things in divine timing. It's here now for you for a reason. And I don't know if it's you personally or a loved one, or frankly, someone you're going to meet tomorrow, but it's crossed your path. You've learned about it. Dive deeper, experience it. You know, it likely is the answer you've been asking for. It's funny because I prayed and looked for something for over a year to help me get better. And when this entered my world, I wasn't even open to it. I was like, I ignored it because I didn't expect the answer to come in a little blue bottle of salt water. Right? It was like, what? And I just, canceled it out. But guys, it is such a powerful solution. It really is a gift. And I'm grateful to you, April and Jay, for seeing what this is and for being able to get it out to so many. I've watched just over the last couple of weeks, so many lives already that you all have changed. And I tell you, you get paid in goosebumps with what you watch this do for people.
It's
So
a beautiful experience.
It is.
We hope and pray everybody watching does experience what we're talking about here, and then you do give it a solid go. Just do it. If you're responsible for someone, be the best version of yourself. Do it for that reason. You know what I mean? Do it for the reasons that make sense in your life. You know, the best version of yourself is within you. Just go out and grab it. I assure you it's waiting for you. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us as you always do. Much love to you, much health and prosperity to you, and we'll see you next time, all right?
Thank you so much for tuning in. And together, with everyone's help, we are turning the universal key to global harmony and creating a unified world. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, tune in often, tell all your friends, and most importantly, may all your beautiful dreams come true. Many blessings.